Hey guys, Brandon back here with another FM Live. We've got a new product for you today, so I'm kind of excited about this one. As always, if you have questions, we will take them live, but go ahead, put them in the comments. We'll get to them once we're done with everything. If we don't, then we'll get to them in the comment thread down there, and we might filter a little bit to stay on point. So, our new product today is our package brake ducts. So we had a friend in Portugal, new friend, reach out and said, hey, I've got this awesome design. Do you guys want to sell it? And short version, yes. Tweaked it just a little bit, and we're printing it on our printer. So what this is, the R package lip here, this is an R package lip. It's called an R package lip because Miatas that had the R package from the factory came with these lips. There are lots of aftermarket ones available as well. Duplicates of this and then totally different styles. This is only for R package lips. Whether it's factory or aftermarket, it should work, but it is not for different styles. So, and I'll give you a little more detail on that. But so basically, this is a brake duct inlet, if you will. What is this? So this is so that you can force air from this little inlet right here to the rotors to cool off the rotors and make it less likely that you're going to overheat your pads. Will work fine for a street car, almost definitely unnecessary, but there's no problem using it on a street car. It's more intended for track cars. So let's see. So the install is super easy. I'll show you that in a sec. But we've got right side and left side, and they are labeled to make it as easy as possible. Here, make it not upside down. And then we have 2.5 inch, which is pretty easy for packaging, and 3 inch, which you can guess flows more air, but is definitely more of a headache for packaging. And you can see the difference there. So these are 3D printed. As with all of our 3D printed stuff, these are off of our Markforged printers. They use a carbon fiber reinforced nylon. Extremely high print quality. I'm constantly amazed by these things. So the kit comes with 2 ducts. Actually comes with 4 of these bolts, and it comes with, there's these hardware things here, and then it comes with some spacers. So the way it installs, we'll show you that real quick. So you have this interior piece here that's going to be on the lip to start off with. You should have this upper piece as well. If you don't, you're going to want it. It's going to work much, much better. This just slips over here like that, and that's basically it. You drill 2 holes, you bolt it together. The spacers are there, so that the gap right here, it can vary based on whether you have an OE lip or this manufacturer, that manufacturer, so on. And the spacers are there to take up any kind of slop that you might have. The plastic is very strong, but there is a limit, and you can crush it if there's a big gap and you don't use spacers. So that's basically that. You can see that this is going to point over. It's obviously not bolted down yet. It's going to point over here so that your duct hose can kind of snake around and go to a backing plate, which we don't have on this car. So use your imagination. It is on turbo cars with our plumbing. Yeah, it's a little snug in there. The hose is probably going to sit on top of this, but it's a manageable thing. It's really not bad at all. So pretty straightforward, super quick and easy install, fits great, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward, really. This is a way to get air to your brakes. This is also, and I'm going to talk more about this in a few weeks, but this is also the first of our products where it comes from a DIY designer. Frederico, the guy who designed this, is actually a mechanical engineering student in Portugal. So basically, we are printing his design He's going to make a little bit of money off of it. We're going to make a little bit of money off of it, but we get to do it at a very, very high quality. So that's going to be more of an official program here in the not too distant future. So stay tuned for that. So questions. We've got a bunch here to start off with. Will you guys create something similar for fill in the blank lip? We are currently working on the Garage Very style lip, which there's a bunch of powder on the GV lip over there from where we were 3D scanning it. I do not have an ETA, apologies, but we are actively working on it, and I hope that it won't be too much longer. We don't have a price or anything, probably going to be pretty similar to these. As far as other styles, somebody was asking about the RS style lip for the NB specifically. We don't have any plans for it right now. If somebody designs it and wants us to produce it, please reach out. We're happy to do that. Probably happy to do that. We do have standards. There are, as far as like the stock NB lips, it's such a small inlet that I'm not real sure it's going to make a whole lot of sense, but maybe. If you want something, please let us know. We'll dig into it and we'll kind of go from there. Will these fit NA only? Yes. So this lip is only for the NA. So therefore, these will only fit the NA. Again, that may change in the future, but that's the plan for right now. Is this meant to pair with a singular brake duct? Yes, but not necessarily. They are meant to pair with backing plates. So basically, when you've got your rotor, you've got a caliper over that, and then you have a backing plate, really just a dust shield. So you can replace that backing plate with one, and we sell one from Singular, but I believe there are other options out there. It's basically kind of sort of a duplicate of the stock one, but it has a pipe, a tube welded onto it, so you can duct your air straight in there. So yes, it is intended to work with those, and it's not going to be terribly effective without hose and that backing plate. We do not have a kit right now. We are working on that, but we do sell the backing plate. So right now, these ducts plus the backing plates source some 2.5-inch scat hose, and you can put it all together, no problem. So, but we will have a kit for that in the not too distant future. And the ever-present question whenever we 3D print anything, will we be giving out the STL? So with this, since this is not our design, this is something that we're reproducing, that is up to the designer. We aren't going to dictate what can and cannot happen there, but it is up to the designer. And this designer, I believe, has chosen not to make it publicly available. So apologies, but there's a whole lot of time and effort that went into the design of this. It's not the hardest thing to design. It's certainly not the easiest either. So there's time in there. Okay. So how do I know what lip I have on my Miata? What does an R package lip look like? Excuse me. This again. Travis, if you want to go on a field trip real quick. So this is the GV lip that I've been talking about. It's quite a bit more pronounced, and this is all the dust from the 3D scanning, but this is much bigger. It sticks out much farther. It's simply a lot bigger. So it will not work with this style lip, but we are working on this. So. And come back this way, so that I haven't memorized all your questions. Apologies. Okay, when will these be available? Good question, because when you asked that question, they were not available. However, they are right now. So they are on our website. Pop on over. We'll get them in the mail in a day or two and send them out to you.
We'll put links in the description.
And we will put links in the description as well. Are we going to be doing any actual testing comparisons against products like honed development brake air guides? I will admit the honed development brake air guides were new for me. So from what I could tell in my poking around, they don't sell a version 4 Miata. I would imagine it's very easy to adapt to a Miata. But basically what it is a scoop that just sits here so that any air coming in here is going to be deflected to the rotor. We have not done any actual testing. I would love to do testing. If you would like to finance that, please let us know. We have a finite amount of time and a whole lot of things to do with it, so that's probably not going to happen. So my guess is that this is going to be a more expensive kit than the honed setup. It is going to be a little bit more complicated of an install. However, it should work better. The air is going to be very turbulent down here, and I don't doubt that a fair amount of air does get thrown towards the rotor with that setup. But when it's being forced in here, I would expect the volume of air to be greater. And the other thing to kind of bear in mind, and I don't know, I didn't look closely enough, I don't know if the hone setup is this way. And again, I don't even know if they make a setup for the Miata, but again, you could probably adapt it. But one thing to bear in mind with brake cooling is you don't want to throw air onto the rotor directly. You want to throw air into the hat so it can be expelled through the vanes in the middle of the rotor to cool it more efficiently that way. Now, air on the face of the rotor is absolutely going to be better than nothing. But in a perfect world, you want it thrown into that center section of the rotor, because a rotor is made of two hats, and they're basically little pegs holding, two sides. But there are pegs holding the two sides together. So the air is going to flow in here, it's going to flow through the vanes, and it's going to cool off the entire rotor much better than if it just hit the side of one side of the rotor, one of those rotor faces, if you will. So, certainly not saying the hone development thing is bad at all. I think it's a pretty slick setup, actually. But pros and cons with each. And I think in terms of outright brake cooling, I would expect these to be better. I have not done any testing to that effect. How streetable are they? Totally streetable. I mean, it's all tucked up in here. If you drive over something, you will damage them if you drive over it far enough, but you will damage other things first. So that could happen on street and track. Again, it's not going to hurt for street cars. It's totally fine for a street car. It's also probably not needed for a street car. But if you need it for a car that you drive on track, but you also drive on street, you definitely don't need to uninstall this setup when you drive it on the street. Work totally fine. Will we be developing our own backing plates as well? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. The singular backing plates are great. So no. Is there a full kit that includes everything? As of right now, no, but we are working on that, and we should have that available here soon. Will these work in place of NB fog lights? No. Hopefully this is apparent at this point. My guess is that you were thinking this end. This is the out. This is the in. So no, it 100% incompatible with the NB fog light setup. That would be a pretty easy thing to do, though. So perhaps we will. Kyle, that's my list of questions. Did we have any more?
There were 2 questions, but both of them already got answered.
Okay. Well, easy enough. So that was a kind of short one, I guess. Thanks for stopping by. As always, if you have more questions, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them, and be sure to tune in next week for our next Facebook or FM Live. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.